Hello, God bless the parishioners who have reached day number 30 of the Bible in a year. We are looking at Exodus chapters 6 and 7 and Leviticus chapter 5. We find our friend Moses. Once again, he continues to kind of make excuses. He's in verse number 12. He says, the Israelites will hardly listen to me. How will the Pharaoh listen to me? And then again, the last verse, verse 30, he says, again, how will the Pharaoh listen to me? But the Lord gives him, again, those tricks that he's supposed to do. He's supposed to do these little signs and wonders so that, as verse 5 says, so that the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord. That's a constant sort of refrain repeated, that so that you shall know. And so Pharaoh will know that he's not God, that the Lord is God, that the God of Israel is the true God. We continue to have an emphasis on that rod of God, the staff that Moses has, and Aaron also using this stick or staff, this rod, to show that becoming a serpent and then transforming back. But then it says that the magicians of Egypt, who are probably some sort of sorcerers who perhaps invoke demons, and sometimes, of course, we know that demons can manipulate nature, or they can create illusions that people can hallucinations that people see, and exorcists are aware of these kinds of things. But there's also kind of an interesting natural explanation or fact that the Egyptian snake charmers in ancient times already knew that there was a certain pressure point on the back of the neck of a cobra, that if they pressed it, it could induce a temporary paralysis that makes the snake's body stiff and straight like a staff until it is jolted out of this state. So that's kind of interesting, and that might be maybe what the Egyptian sorcerers maybe did to try to impress people. But of course, God's and Moses and Aaron, their staff is much more impressive, and as it says, swallows up the other snakes or staffs of the sorcerers. This staff obviously symbolizes for us Christians the wood of the cross of Christ, and its power is seen as he strikes the water of the Nile. Later, Moses is going to strike the Red Sea and part the Red Sea with that same staff. So it's a source of salvation and of power. We know that the cross of Christ saves us and liberates us, but here it's used to transform the water of the Nile into blood. And this, they say, is the first of the 10 plagues, which all of them, they say, are kind of a warfare against the gods of Egypt. And one of the major Egyptian gods was Hapi, H-A-P-I, Hapi. And this god of the Nile and of the flooding of the Nile and of this river, which was so important for them living in the desert, it was the source of life and of their whole economy. And so here we have God of Israel showing his power over the God of the Egyptians. This river is defeated and turned to blood. Another thing to remember, of course, is that this same river was the place where the Egyptians had cast the baby boys of the Israelites, all the male babies, into the river and caused such terrible death. And so obviously the God of Israel is showing his power and conquering the God of the gods of the Egyptians. God is coming to the rescue, as it said in chapter 6, verses 6 through 7. These words where God says, I have heard the groaning of the sons of Israel. I've remembered the covenant, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm. That phrase, redeem, meant a redeemer, and it's kind of a word that they had. It's goel in Hebrew. It means like a rich uncle, or some sort of, that you could be someone to be responsible for you, or to pay your debts, or to free you from prison. It was a kind of a social structure that they had. So God is showing himself to be this redeemer who swooped in and to rescue his people who had been suffering so much. And as it says in verse 7, I will take you for my people, and I will be your God. You shall be my people, and I shall be your God. That's actually a wedding formula from the ancient times of Israel. And so it's really the beginning of this covenant where God is so in love with his people that he chooses to unite himself and make himself one with his people.